I never properly said goodbye. I'm likely going to avoid the JW topic. I've got a lot of other real life focuses that I have to put all of my attention on. There's some people saying that I've gone off the deep end, and for a while that was spot on. It was very accurate. I made the mistake of putting all of my energy into a person, which, just so you guys know, that's insanity, because when that person's gone, you're looking at a full psychotic break. Your energy really needs to be focused on a lot more than just a person. It doesn't matter how important that person is to you. There's so much in life that's equally or more important than an individual. And I think that's something everyone needs to hear. There's two types of people in the world. There are people who value stability more than anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to make that seem like it's something degrading or beneath me or anyone else. Because honestly, people who are stable help keep the world turning. But on the flip side of that coin, there are people who value adventure and chaos and really want to dig deep into what is all of this around us. Why are things the way they are? How can I grow and evolve more? And I didn't mean to romanticize that group of people, but it's only natural because I fall into that category. At least I'll say in the past 2 years or so, I've definitely fallen into that category. I wasn't always that way. Ever since Warwick, quite honestly. But, and while I romanticize that group of people, I also think that oftentimes I look up to people who are stable much more. Because I don't know, I think I've always wanted to be that person, but it's always been very difficult for me. I'm always looking for the next adventure, but I've been learning how to be stable, and I wanted to speak a little bit about the nature of suffering, because anyone who really wants to grow, anyone who really wants to evolve, suffering is the very best tool for that. Suffering is just another word for forced motivation. Nothing motivates a person more than suffering. And I have subconsciously allowed myself to fall into great suffering in the past 2 months. I had other options. I have a lot of friends who would have gladly made my life easier if I would have asked. But I'm taking the hard road because it's the road that's near my daughter, and I'm trying to do the right thing for the first time in 7 years. I want to be near her, and And hopefully all this suffering has taught me a great deal of lessons. It sure seems like it. I've learned things in the past 48 hours that are invaluable. Things about myself, things about the nature of life, the nature of suffering. And I think I'd like to share some of that with you, although I'm always a little bit guarded in doing so, because I also feel that sometimes words are meaningless. Sometimes I can tell you what I've learned, but if you've not lived it, if you've not been in my shoes, it's not going to mean a whole lot to you. But I'll tell you one thing. We all carry around with us incredible weight every day. We're worried about how we're going to achieve our goals. We're worried about how we're going to pay rent, how we're going to, keep the internet on, whether our friends and family still love us, how to keep them around in our lives. And that restricts us. It strangles us. And it can be incredibly distracting from all the things that we're trying to do. It's amazing, though, what happens when you've lost everything. When you lose everything, you finally understand what it means to let go and how one goes about letting go. And it's a pretty beautiful thing. It's what I've actually achieved in the past. In the past 24 hours, I've achieved this. It's freed me. I feel so liberated. I feel so light on my feet. Today, I started a new job finally after training, and I wasn't in a panic over every little hiccup that went wrong. Like, everything went smoothly because I wasn't constantly freaking out about this thing and that thing and my past, my future, the people that I'm trying to stay in contact with. I wasn't worried about any of that anymore. And I could just exist and do what I had to do. I've somehow sectioned off my mind. I'm still doing all the things that I need to do to achieve my goals, but I'm not worried about achieving my goals. It'll happen eventually. I have a little bit of faith in that regard. I don't worry about it. It could take 2 months. It could take 2 years. Doesn't matter. I know that I'm going to survive. And I have reached a moment again, finally, in my psyche to where if I didn't survive, if something happened to me and I were to die, that's okay too. And that, my friends, is where we all have to get to. Not just so that we can have a better life and be able to perform better in our day-to-day struggles, but because I think that is the meaning of life. To get to a point to where we can just let go. Anyways. Sorry I wasn't looking at the comments. I just had a lot to share, and I hope some of you enjoyed it and gave you something to chew on. And I guess this is my official goodbye to the JW scene. So, Thank you, everyone, for all the support, all the comments. Hi, Brooklyn. Hi, Tomato Bagel. Darth Guido. What's up? That's Joe. Yeah, you hear crickets. I'm outside. I'm outside a lot these days. That's another thing that will help you evolve and grow. There's something to be said about the great outdoors. A lot to be said. Humans, for some reason, have decided that we needed to seal ourselves away from it because it's icky, because it's gross, because it's hard to deal with a lot of the time. But it is the great teacher, let me tell you. It's not it's not the greatest man book. Yeah, you'll learn a lot just going outside more. But yeah, thanks to everyone who tuned in and watched me take the watchtower down a few notches. And to the enduring friends who stuck with me through it all. You guys are the best people I've ever met. And to the ones who couldn't hack it, well, I still love you guys too. But that's all from me. Faithful slave, I'm out.